Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 250th episode of Reaction and Review. My God, that just feels weird to say. 250 episodes. Good God. But yes, guys, tonight we celebrate 250 episodes, and damn it, I have found the perfect movie to celebrate episode 250. It is a movie from 2010 from director Robert Rodriguez. That movie is Machete. Now, Machete started life as a side character in the Spy Kids films. No, I'm not kidding. Machete is a character from the Spy Kids movies, and they opted to make a more, adult-themed spin-off just solely around him, which to me, that's fine, because I've noticed that when Robert Rodriguez makes films for adults instead of ones for his simpering kids, the movies actually turn out pretty good, because I liked Sin City, and I liked From Dusk Till Dawn, and I loved Planet Terror, so hell, this thing could very well be awesome. However, I also have that niggling doubt hanging over my head, because this is a spin-off of Spy Kids, and I'm not sure how much of the bullshit from Spy Kids is going to leak into this thing. I have no idea. But I'm still hoping for it to be good, and the only way I'm going to find out if it is any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Machete. Was she keeping her cell phone in her snatch? Okay, that was just fucked up on a whole lot of levels, guys, I'd just like to say. And they got Lindsay Lohan to play a drug addict. Wow, that is such a stretch for her, but then again, I guess it sort of makes sense. I mean, why in the hell would you want to pay an actor to play as a crack whore when you can just get an actual crack whore to do it? You know, it just makes sense. Okay, never thought I'd ever see a movie where somebody goes bungee jumping with another man's intestines. That was fucking awesome, guys. Hell yeah. So this church has all of its surveillance monitors put in a crucifix shape. I will say that is in no way practical, but it certainly looks fucking cool, so at least it fucking gets points for looking badass, you know. Wow. Okay, guys, it is now official. Machete is the biggest man whore in the history of film. Every single woman he has come in contact with, he has in some way, shape, or form screwed around with him. Now, mind you, every single one of them he has run into has been drop dead sexy as hell, but still, it does not stop the fact that the man is a colossal man whore. It's actually kind of funny. You know, guys, I'd like to say this right now. This film is really kind of smothering under its entire, immigration message. It's really getting kind of hard to watch it. It's really starting to get boring because it keeps hammering you over the head with this fucking message. I really want to love this movie, but the message is being preached so loud, so often, so bluntly that I'm getting really fucking sick of it, you know? Well, guys, that was Machete, and, well, the movie was a little bit disappointing, but I'm gonna have to explain why. Let me shut the movie off. There we go. So, let's talk about Machete. Let's talk about the writing first and foremost. Well, the writing is the writing is, for the most part, really good. I would like to say, in terms of like dialogue and everything, it's fantastic. It is really good in terms of dialogue. Well, for most of the dialogue. The problem, and this sort of ties into dialogue, it ties into the tone, ties into a lot of the shit that sort of works into the film, is that and before I even mention this, and before I start going off on it, I'm going to assume that this was supposed to be that this was some kind of an attempt at, you know, being funny. However, it just comes off as just it is just so poorly executed that it really almost destroys the film. And that is the fact that you cannot go more than 2 minutes in this movie. And no, I am not exaggerating on that. You cannot go more than 2 minutes without some character jumping onto a soapbox telling us whether or not we should have any kind of immigration reform. And it all kind of goes down racial lines too, because apparently if you are white, except for one ginger boy who was adopted as a child by a Mexican family and thus turned him into a ginger Mexican gang, you know, banger. No, I'm not kidding. If you are white, you believe that Mexicans have no right being in the U.S. at all for any reason. Fuck every single one of them. We have to put up a fence. And if you're Mexican, except for one Mexican drug lord, you personally believe that we should not have a fence and we shouldn't even have immigration laws. And everybody should just be allowed to come and go as they please, regardless of like criminal record or anything else like that. It is a very poorly laid out. It's a very poorly laid out binary system here, which doesn't fucking work. And it would have been fine if this whole thing were in the background, you know, if it were maybe mentioned like twice and we just stuck with the balls out fun action, you know, film that we were promised. Instead, it's brought to the forefront and everybody's talking about it. We have one character who is a fucking ICE agent. We have another agent. I mean, we have another character who is running a network of people who are trying to get even more illegal Mexicans into the U.S. We have a group of vigilante border guards who are shooting Mexicans on sight at the border. We have a senator who goes and rides along with them and is all for building a fence. We have his aide who's paying for a hitman to shoot the senator, so that way the senator then the senator gets more sympathy votes and thus gets reelected, so he can build his fence, so that way his aide and his friend, who is the Mexican drug lord, can funnel their drugs into the U.S. through the weak points in the fence, so that way they can rise the price on their drugs. No, I am not kidding. That is the fucking plot here. Jesus God. But okay, you know what? Every last bit of that sounds completely fucking stupid, but I'm gonna let all of that go, because this thing was supposed to be similar to Planet Terror, Death Proof, and this is a really bad fucking example, but I'm gonna use it anyway, Nude Nuns with Big Guns. This thing was supposed to be a callback to 1970s exploitation films, and it works. It works there. It's just, even then, guys, movies made back in the 70s like that, even if they had a message, they didn't hammer you over the head with it every 2 fucking minutes, okay? That to me is the one spot where the writing here absolutely dies, which is sad because everything else here is so fucking strong. It seriously is one of the two major things which brings everything in this movie to a fucking screaming halt, and I'm going to talk about the other thing in just a second. In fact, I'm going to talk about it as I talk about acting, you see, because the actors here all fucking give a fantastic performance. It is awesome to see all these people do what they do best, except for one cast member. I knew he was going to suck because this man has not been able to make a good movie in his entire fucking life, and that is Steven Seagal. I don't care what anybody says, that fucking waste of skin has always sucked at acting, and he always will. And his action movies are testament to this. He cannot act, and his fight scenes suck hard. In fact, just overall, he, and by he I mean Steven fucking Seagal, sucks hard-throbbing dick in terms of acting. They could have cast anybody else as the Mexican drug lord. Yeah, by the way, Seagal is playing the Mexican drug lord. Attempt to wrap your head around that one. You could have cast anybody else in that fucking role and it would probably have been better. You could have cast another waste of life like Larry the fucking Cable Guy in that goddamn role, and it would have been 10 times more fucking believable, and Larry the Cable Guy might actually have put some goddamn effort into putting in a decent performance. But no, we are stuck with Steven Shitbag Seagal, and everybody else has to then act even better in order to keep his very presence from sucking the entire fucking movie down. And thankfully, all of them do. So yes, guys, acting here is awesome, and that is nothing short of a miracle, since they all had to carry this one worthless bag of shit who is in the film for 15 minutes, and it's 15 of the most torturous goddamn minutes in the fucking film. Especially since he has to try to speak, Spanish, and that is nothing short of laughable. Anyway, acting here, again, beyond that one dark patch, is really good. Effects-wise, this movie is fantastic in terms of gore, effects, everything looks awesome. Camera work here is really good. Lighting here is really good. Editing. I have to mention editing because there is one thing about this movie that also kind of bothers me, is that okay, first of all, here's a little bit of trivia. When they made this movie, they went and they took all the footage which was in the original fake trailer that aired as part of Grindhouse, and they worked all of it into the final product. Here is the issue. The tone and the lighting in those scenes is so drastically different from everything else that was filmed here that every single one of those clips sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. And the worst part about them is that you see them, at least when I saw them, I wasn't getting memories of that first trailer. The trailer that aired before Planet Terror, and I went, why couldn't we get a movie that was as cool as that fucking trailer? And sadly, we did not get that. We got a film that is trying really hard to be funny. It's trying really hard to be cool, and that's its biggest fault, is it's trying too hard, and everything is slowly crumbling around it. It really is kind of sad. This thing here, guys, has the fucking makings of an absolute classic film, and it's brought down by really poor writing and one horrible actor. And I would like to say right now, guys, that I am in no way telling you guys to flat out avoid this movie. I am not. I do personally believe that everybody should at least give this movie a try. Because frankly the two huge problems that I had with it are probably not going to bother a lot of other people, and you guys could very well find yourself really loving this movie, and if so, awesome. And if you want to go and check out the sequel in theaters, rock on. As for me, I'm probably not going to bother with the sequel, because this was a little bit of a letdown for me. So, I'm just sort of putting that out there. If you guys can find this on Netflix, or if you find it on, or if you find it in a Redbox kiosk, or if you are over at a video store, if your neighborhood still has a video store, and this thing is sitting there, by all means rent it. Or if you can find a used copy incredibly cheap, and when I say incredibly cheap, I'm talking about $10 or less. by all means, pick it up. Because guess what, guys? At fucking $10, it's totally worth it. But I would not spend a cent above that, personally. Now, Machete came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is a YouTuber, and his YouTube channel is youtube.com/user/376, and that is words, not numbers. I am going to put a link to his channel in this video's description. And dude, thank you, because I had wanted to watch this movie for a long time. Ever since it came out in 2010, I have been interested in checking this movie out, and I never got around to watching it, and it's thanks to you that I finally had my chance. Oh, and I just knocked my ring on the table there. But sadly, the movie just wasn't my thing, which I'm really shocked at, because I genuinely believed I was gonna love this movie. And I still kind of like it, but it's not really what I had kind of expected from it. And once more, dude, thank you, guys. I'd like you to swing over to 376's YouTube channel. Check out anything he has. I'm going to assume that it's a he. I almost always assume that it is a he. Swing over there. Check out anything that he has, and if you like it, sub it. As for me, you know what? I'm gonna go and rewatch Grindhouse. That is what I'm going to do. Specifically so that way I can watch the trailer for this and wonder where the hell it all went fucking wrong. At least wrong to me. Anyway, guys, with that we come to the close of the 250th reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.